to your thing? We can have bridge if you.
We can have bridge. That's fine.
Okay, for the recording, my position is that Femto will not lose the battle by virtue of outscaling, outhacking, etc. The judge is going to be bridged. Who I'm debating is Forks. Someone stop the recording. What's wrong with y'all? Can y'all time out this Umar dude? Just to see exactly why he was fucking banned.
Oh, Umair's fucking weird.
So for the recording, once again, the topic is going to be Femto versus Creepypasta. My position is that my character will not lose. I'm debating Forks. Did he do it again? Okay, anyways, I'm debating Forks. My premise, outscaling or hoxing. The judge is bridge.
Hey, look,
all right, word.
Oh, that's crazy.
So what's your position recording, Forks?
Yeah, my position, I'm using, I guess, comp fiction, but more specifically, composite creepypasta. Actually, only one creepypasta series that I have in mind, but I'm essentially going to be arguing the opposite of you, that they outscale, they outhacks, and they just shit all over comp femto.
Okay, sure. So my argument is going to be that my character is abstract. Starting off, Bridge, are you listening?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I am.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my character's true form is abstract. Do you want to see evidence for that, or do you agree?
We could just go with that. It's not that impressive. When you say abstract, do you just mean that they like physical form?
I think yes. To be non-physical means you're not. You understand to be non-physical until you're abstract, because to be non-physical means you're unsubject to physical change. I don't believe in metaphysical change. Therefore, you be atemporal, aspatial.
Yeah, I agree to that. I just like to make sure, just because everybody has their own understandings.
Okay, so
that's fine.
You agree to everything I just said?
Yeah, I can accept that. Your character's not affected by time or space or whatever. Really quickly, what do you think that entails?
I think that's the strongest hacks in fiction. The fuck?
Do you?
Yes, I think that. Yes, because I don't believe.
Yeah,
if it is the case. Yeah, if it is the case that he is atemporal, spatial, he cannot be destroyed or damaged. Whose mic is that? Can y'all mute, Tigger?
Oh yeah.
Oh, what you're really trying to. Yeah, your fault, Tigger. No, my bad. I'm playing. What you're really trying to get across. Yeah, this guy really tried it. That's all you got cut off. Anyway, what you're really trying to get across, it sounds like, is that your character is not bound by causality. All causal actions take place in space or time. Your character.
I don't know whose mic that is or who keeps interjecting, but folks, in response to what you just said, all I'm saying is that my character is Oh my god, why do y'all do this, bro? My character is atemporal, aspatial. If that is the case, and sure, he can exist outside of causality, it doesn't really matter as long as my character cannot be affected by virtue of his lack of time.
No, that's what I'm trying to say, though. Like, the reason I'm trying to break that down is so we can categorize it as acausal. Because if your character is summed up as acausal because, whatever, events take place and carry on in space and time, your character inside of that, all I would need to present is that there are characters that can effectively erase or destroy acausal beings.
Okay, so two things there. So, of course, you can label it whatever you want. I already gave a description to where I'm to what I'm arguing. You already agreed to it. So you can give it the title of acausal. I was just going to say it's abstract. You can present your scaling now. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Just give me like a moment to pull up the story in question. I'll give it to you. But essentially what I'm going to argue are there characters that explicitly are able to create and destroy acausal beings.
If you're arguing that they can create a concept or characters who exist outside of time, I just believe that's impossible, because for you to exist outside of time, that means you cannot go through change. If you cannot go through change, that means you cannot be in a point of non-existent to existence, because that entails temporality. So I'm going to ask you, why should we accept the statement? Especially if there's a contradiction, you're going to try to use another statement that's going to question back, and you cannot show a feat because feats contradict the character being abstract.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so first of all, I don't agree with what you said, but I'm going to pull up what I'm talking about anyway, and then I'm going to delve into the argumentation.
No, I'm saying I can accept the statement. I can accept that it's said.
Oh, okay. So what you're saying that change can only be represented in terms of time. I agree with that in the physicalist sense. I agree with that in the physicalist sense, but there's also such things as conditionals within like the realm of acausal things or immaterial things. So hold on, wait. I haven't said anything yet.
No. I'm saying that you already clarified something. I asked you if you agree to everything I said. I literally said there was no such thing as metaphysical change. Therefore, I'm literally a physicalist. So if that is the case, if there's no such thing as metaphysical change, that means you cannot posit metaphysical change actually existing.
Well, you can't be a physicalist in this debate where we're both repping metaphysical characters. That doesn't make any sense.
No, I'm just telling you my position outside of it. I'm saying that I don't posit metaphysical change overall.
Yeah, so when you say metaphysical change, you're actually conflating it with physical change, and that you think that change is like predicated upon. Hold on a second. Yeah, this is why stages are low-key cool. Yeah, what I was saying was that change in the sense that you're talking about is something warping or shifting over time. But what I'm talking about are things called antecedent facts, which I don't know if you've heard of. Are you familiar with them?
Yeah. But I think you're conflating something.
It's the idea that of two facts, right? And like hypothetically, facts or truths are metaphysical in nature. One fact can be dependent on the other fact to exist. So, for example, the laws of logic is metaphysical, and something like the idea of of ghosts or whatever. Let's say that. That's
Wait,
also
of course.
metaphysical.
Okay,
But the
hold on.
idea, hold on, but the idea of
Hold on,
ghosts
what's Mike? Hold on. Bro,
was,
y'all mute everybody, please, or rest of VC or something.
what's the last thing you heard?
Yeah, you said that, for example, thoughts or facts are going to be something that's metaphysical.
Yeah, so let me I'll wrap that up really quickly. I'll be concise. What I'm saying is that both the laws of logic and the concept of ghosts are metaphysical in nature. I'm sure you would agree. However,
No,
the concept of, okay, that's fine. You can give your disagreement after. The concept of ghost is dependent on the laws of logic existing. So it's not like there's a temporal relationship between the two, but there's a logical, factual, metaphysical relationship between the two. One is dependent on the other.
Let me respond to that. So it's actually not going to be the case that classical logic is something that is abstract, but instead, I just believe classical logic is a description, and that just is attempting to map onto reality and be explanatory. So what's the case in reality? You have to justify that metaphysical change can exist. I'm not actually conflating metaphysical and physical change. I'm saying that metaphysical change is going to be something that is non-physical. I don't believe non-physical change exists. Therefore, my conclusion would follow. So if it is the case, I do believe time is something that is represented spatially, as in time is it's a biconditional. If there is spatial interaction, then time would exist. What you just said is just a contingent fact. Obviously, if X necessarily needs Y to exist, that would be a contingency there. I'm not denying the fact that facts can exist. However, I don't believe that facts itself is something that is abstract. Also, well, I don't think you're understanding. I'm not saying that.
That's fine. I agree. Wait, I don't think. All right, go ahead.
I agree that abstract beings can exist in fiction, obviously. I'm just saying you're going to need some extraordinary evidence for me to be convinced that they exist in your fictional verse.
Okay, so hold on a second, really quickly. So we can, whether or not what I said maps onto your understanding of reality, like our real world, that's all irrelevant, right? Because I would just say that in the fictional verse, I'm talking about the laws of logic, these concepts and ideas, these notions are immaterial in nature, and that's all that needs to be the case. It just needs to apply within the fictional verse I'm talking about. So in the fictional verse I'm talking about, right, there are these gods, and these gods are essentially the antecedent facts. They are the preconditions for all things, both material and immaterial. And what I'm saying is that even if your character, right, falls outside of causality and is immaterial by nature, they would still be subject to being eliminated or eradicated by these things which have domain over what you're describing.
Okay, yeah, so in response to that, I do really think you're conflating what I'm saying. I'm granting the fact that this is not the case in reality, but it can logically be the case within fiction. That's not what I'm denying. What I'm saying is that you're going to need compelling or extraordinary evidence that is something that surpasses regular evidence. So you making the claim that, well, there's a statement within my verse that says that this character is metaphysical. I'm not going to accept that. I need some actual evidence or something that's at least something that at least makes it consistent. You would be affirming the consequent by saying that P implies Q if Q, which is the fact that this statement is made, or the fact that something occurred. That would have to be necessarily P, which is the fact that it's stated that these characters are the creators of this thing. So just because in actuality, hold on.
Yeah.
So just because in actuality we see that Q does occur, doesn't mean that in actuality P is the cause of Q, which is the statement of them being the creators. That would just be an intention thing. Intentionality is different from actuality.
All you're really asking is you just want evidence from the fictional verse I'm talking about that what I'm saying is the case, that these things are viewed as immaterial and there are these characters that have dominion over it. That's fine. That's all you're asking for. I can get you that.
It's not just that. The problem is there is a specific type of evidence I want, because you're going to try to send a
You want
statement.
strong evidence.
I'm going to call a question back.
You want strong evidence. That's fine. You want evidence that is not circular.
Yeah, go ahead.
So would you consider characters that are verifiably omniscient making a claim? Would you consider that to be strong evidence?
No, because that would be intentionality.
It's context in which they have no reason to lie.
No, because that would be intentionality, Forks.
That would be what?
Intentionality. Intentionality is distinct from actuality, Forks.
What do you think what is intentionality? What are you saying?
In the context of fiction, it's something that the author intends for. It's what he attempts to do. In actuality is what actually occurs. For example, the author can intend for Goku to be Naruto, but in actuality, in their fictional verse, there can be a contradiction that Naruto beats Goku. The same as with Naruto.
What I'm talking about what I'm talking about are characters that are omniscient within their universe, in that they have access to all actual facts. That's A. B, there's no reason for them to lie in the context that they're giving these facts. And C, this is all verifiably true. The two things I just said are verifiably true.
Yeah. Hold on. So
what's put into question? I don't know what is.
So what's put into question is whether or not they're actually verifiably true. Secondly, once again, you saying they're omniscient means nothing. They can be intentionally omniscient. However, in actuality, they can still not be telling the truth. I agree. Hold on. I agree that narratively, they're trying to be portrayed to be omniscient. That's not what I'm denying. However, I'm asking, why is it the case in actuality? I need compelling evidence for that specifically. Like, for example, they don't want contradictions in Naruto, but however, what's his name? Itachi Tsukiyomi blade is literally spiritual, but it's still able to interact with physical things. I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I understand. You're arguing from kind of we need an objective lens rather than a purely subjective lens, one that can be falsified. That's fine. What I'm saying is that I'll get you the first bit of evidence that I promise you, because I don't want to go too far into this where we're asking for various things.
I'm granting that.
So you're granting that there are characters that are, at least within the story, implied to be
I can grant that. I can grant that the characters I'm clarifying. I can grant that the characters are portrayed to be omniscient. Braids, are you listening?
Yeah, I'm just on mute.
Okay, yeah, I can grant that the characters are portrayed to be omniscient, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so do you consider corroborative evidence, that being when, let's say, a theory, right, or a claim is posited, and then a totally disconnected piece of information verifies that claim or that theory? Do you believe corroborative evidence is a valid form of evidence?
What do you mean by that? Give an example real quick.
Yeah, like, for example, right, if I make the claim, right, that... let me think of a good example. Let's say like election fraud. Let's say that there's like a group of judges, right, who like look over like the election, look over the results of it, and they say, yeah, this election was stolen. And let's say that an entirely separate group of judges, right, totally disconnected from the first group,
My bad.
yeah, let's say there's a group of judges that are like theorizing. They're saying, well, based on this information we have, we think the election was stolen. Let's say that there's a completely separate group of judges that have no connection to the first group, right? They're totally isolated, and they come to the exact same conclusion.
You're just saying that
evidence.
You're just saying that people are able to form an empirical basis on their own, independent of everybody else's basis. I can agree that they can do that, sure. And I would agree it's relative to the context whether or not that's a valid piece of evidence, like I said before. So yeah.
Right. So let me give you the specific. If that's fine. Can I give you the specific?
Yeah, before you do. So, Burridge, within the context of the debate, when you have things such as evidence, when you label it valid, it being valid evidence is always going to be relative to the context in which it is quote unquote proposed in. But go ahead.
Yeah, I can just get into like the specifics of what I'm referencing, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit hard to explain. There's like a hierarchy within the story, right?
Yeah.
And it's like a hierarchy of gods, okay? And these gods, right, they claim themselves to be omniscient, and they make various claims such as there are likely an infinite chain of gods above us, and by our very nature, we're probably only stories to them. And then, in the second story, the sequel story, we literally get the perspective of one of these higher gods who verifies, yes, within their universe, they are omniscient, and yes, they were correct about their theories.
Okay,
that
wait.
To me is corroborative evidence that they were right.
Wait, guess who that's from? That's from the author. I said that the author is intentionally trying to
from the characters.
No,
that's not the author.
No, it's chill. The statements are made for the character. However, the in perspective character statements are from the author himself. That's how literally that works. But it doesn't matter.
Are you just talking from the basic perspective of the author uses characters to deliver information they want to deliver?
Yes. It's intentionally trying to portray this thing. It doesn't make it true in actuality, is what I'm saying. Actuality is distinct from intentionality. Is what I've been arguing.
Okay, so number one, this is a trivial critique because then at that point, there's no such thing as a character statement that can ever be verified as true. But second of all, I'm not just claiming that the author is trying to get across certain information. I'm claiming that the information that is gotten across corresponds with other information in the same series.
Wait, Forks. Hello?
That information is correct.
Hello. Did he only cut out for me? Hello? Do you hear me?
Hello? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, let me respond to that. So, okay.
Wait, did you hear what I said? What did I say?
I mean, you can repeat the first thing.
I didn't hear what you said.
You said, go ahead. I can repeat.
I said, not only do I think you're making a trivial observation, because, yeah, I guess that's true of every character, but I wasn't just saying that these things are true in virtue of the author is trying to get a point across. I was saying they're also true in virtue of the fact that these characters, who are totally isolated from each other, right, arrive at conclusions that support the same idea, that support the same truth. That is evidence that the truth they've arrived at is actually correct. It's corroborated.
So for the first point, that's not true at all. Just because you believe that this can apply to every single statement doesn't make it true. The reason why it doesn't apply to every single thing is because within fiction, some statements are actually supported by feats. Within this context, you're just using statements. I'll literally explain why you cannot use a feat, because it's impossible to show an abstract being on panel. So when you have things such as Asta can beat Goku, and then in the fictional verse, we see Asta beating Goku, that statement is supported by empirical evidence. It's not just a statement that is made. In comparison, or in response to the other argument you just made, yeah, I already responded to that. I think that's just question begging. You're trying to say that, well, another character made it who is who's completely independent of the other character statement. Therefore, there's a collective consensus in the verse, and this consensus should have correspondence with reality. I said that even though these two characters are completely separated in perspective of the fictional verse, it's still the author portraying this thing. It's still the author delivering this information, so we can continue.
Yeah, so hold on a second. So number one, again, the reason why I said it was trivial is because based on the underlying principle you're using, all character statements in any verse are not actually statements that are applying to some fact of reality, but rather they're just statements of the author trying to get his intentions across. Whether or not that's true or not, I don't really care. I'm just saying that's a trivial observation. It's not really a meaningful argument. The second thing is, I think that you're mistaken, right? I'm making the claim that feats are not the only way to portray evidence, right? Another real-world example that we can use as to the power of corroboration. Wait. Let me finish up really quickly. I'll try not to ramble, right? I'm saying there's other forms of evidence. Like another example with corroboration. Let's say that a girl gets mugged, right? She gets mugged in an area by a guy, and she gives a description of the guy. Let's say that a few days later, another girl in the same area gets mugged, and she gives the exact same description of a guy, okay? In this case, these two girls have no communication, yet somehow they're giving the exact same description. That is a valid form of evidence to use in court to put somebody on trial. So then if that's the case, why is this for two characters that are isolated having same or shared truths? How is that not evidence?
I agree that empirical evidence is something that is existing. I'm positing that. I don't believe you responded to anything else I've said. We can move on. I posit that. We can continue.
What do you think I didn't? Wait, hold on. If you posited that you agree, what exactly are you disagreeing with? I'm having trouble understanding.
I told you, bro. I'm telling you, I posit the fact that there's multiple types of evidence. I told you this multiple times. So would you like to conclude, Forks?
Is that a wait, there are multiple forms of evidence, therefore the one I presented is wrong? How does that follow?
That's not what I said. I'm saying that you just gave an example where you were trying to justify that there are multiple types of evidence. I'm saying in response to that example, I never denied that there's multiple types of evidence for it. I actually posit that. So let's continue and conclude on this point.
Okay, we can conclude, but then the last thing I want to say about it then is if you agree there's multiple forms of evidence, I don't get why you kept on repeating how, we can't use feats because feats are inapplicable to immaterial beings.
I did not.
Like that. Wait, you did. You said that you can't show feats because these characters are non-physical.
Yeah, so the reason why you cannot use feats when trying to portray that the character is abstract is because if you were to see this thing visibly, that would contradict them being abstract by virtue of them having dimensions pertaining to them.
Yeah, so why did you repeat that if you never disagreed that there are multiple forms of evidence, and that was what I said never even had anything to do with feats. I just don't get why you kept on repeating.
I was clarifying that. Let's conclude.
Okay. Do you actually want to give your conclusion, or you just want to move on?
Bridge, were you listening, bro?
Yeah, go ahead, give a conclusion. Both of you.
Bro, I'm about to change my PFP. Hold
on. In conclusion, I don't think he ever meaningfully disagreed or provided a counter-argument to the idea of corroborative evidence. I gave two examples, one in which the police used two different testimonies of totally disconnected, isolated women that give the same account of who mugged them. They use that as evidence to indict and prosecute somebody, and that is a valid form of evidence. He never disagreed. But if he doesn't disagree with that being a valid form of evidence, right, then two characters in a story that are isolated from each other, who have no way of communicating with each other, verifying each other's accounts of reality, that should also be corroborative evidence. Not to mention the fact that I don't want to press it too hard, but there was never any contradictions that were presented because he just granted that these things were true of the story, that these two characters did do these things. At the end of the day, the only real criticism I can really say he made is that, well, all characters speak in an effort to get across what the author is trying to imply. But at the end of the day, that doesn't really attack whether or not what the author is trying to imply has verifiable evidence within the verse itself. So
okay, so in conclusion, I don't believe Forks actually responded to any of my arguments. I was making a distinction between actuality and intentionality. I do agree that there's multiple types of evidence that you can propose. That's why I said when you say evidence is valid, that's relative to the specific context you're referring to. So in the context he gave, yes, you can make a consensus off of an empirical basis. If two women who are completely isolated from each other see a nigga who raped a dog and then they describe that nigga perfectly, then yes, the court can use that as a valid piece of evidence, depending on what type of court it is. If that is the case, then that is justifiably, basically, that's justifying the conclusion that evidence evidence relative to context can differ. So, there being multiple types of evidence is not something that defeats my side, because I'm saying that him sending statements is not adequate justification for a character being abstract, but instead, that's just the author trying to portray that they're abstract. Why should I accept a statement, especially if it intends or entails a contradiction? That being that, for example, an abstract character, if his character were to move or speak, which he did grant within the point, then they cannot be abstract because they're going to change. I said that time, which is literally when the abstract character lacks, is literally defined as temporality, or time is temporality. Temporality is represented via spatial interaction, via spatial change. Therefore, there's no such thing as metaphysical change, which is literally non-physical change. I literally said that's impossible. So I gave an example of intentionality being that the author is trying to intentionally portray that Goku's above Naruto. However, in actuality, we see that Naruto beats Goku. That means actuality is distinct from intentionality. He didn't respond to any of my arguments. Yeah, there you go, Bridge.
This guy Bridge is on a phone call? Oh no.
Who wanted to debate me on something?
Nobody, bro.
Bridge, do you have judgment?
Oh, okay. I'll go back.
So, alright, my bad, bro. That sounded rude. I'm just in the heat of it, you feel me? Anyway, I think Bridge is on a phone call.
Yeah, Bridge, I'm saying that when you have a claim such as someone's abstract, that's an extraordinary claim. I want extraordinary evidence, not just a statement, because intentionality is distinct from actuality. We do know that if a character talks, moves, or something like that, that wouldn't tell a contradiction. So I'm asking, why should I accept this statement if it doesn't tell a contradiction? So, Bridge, go ahead. This nigga.
Blood is not there. Blood hit the Kamui, bro. He's in a different dimension.
Around back, never mind. Oh my god, this nigga.
Yo, this guy Bridge is actually pressing, bro. That's crazy. No way this guy thinks I'm 45, bro. Only 45? Nah, you're flattering me.
Yeah, you're much older. You're like at the Jurassic.
Nigga like 300 years old.
Bro, he's like at the Jurassic. Hey, bro, no wait, Poix. I heard you were there like when the dinosaurs went extinct.
Hey, shut the fuck up.
No, bro, I was the meteor,
That was not
bro.
funny.
I came down from outer space. I came in like a fucking wrecking ball, Miley Cyrus style. Speaking of Miley Cyrus, I don't know why. I'm gonna start yapping until Bridge comes in. I don't know why, bro, but 2010's pop was actually peak.
Yeah, what are you talking about? But Bridge, do you have judgment?
Was that it? Y'all didn't give anything past what I said on the phone call, right?
Yeah, I don't know when you cut out. Was I talking when you cut out?
I don't think you were. You might have been.
Okay, so in summary, you make a extraordinary claim such as someone is abstract. I believe that being abstract in fiction usually entails contradiction, so I think you need extraordinary and compelling evidence, intentionality, actuality, etc. Blah blah blah.
Okay. Yeah. So if you, Forks, what was your response to the time thing and how abstractness is normally contradicted in fiction?
Yeah, I said that time and change and physicality, all that's just a matter of physicality. That's just a matter of, like, his character is acausal, is an effect by physical change. What I said was there are different types of ways to get around that. I said there's such a thing as an immaterial fact being contingent upon another immaterial fact. The example I used was the concept of ghosts is predicated upon the concept of the laws of logic existing, right? And in a similar way, one of my characters that I'm repping has the ability, right, to basically fuck with and determine the existence of immaterial facts that are beneath him or, dependent upon him. That's my point.
He posited something I never denied. I never denied that things can be abstract. I'm saying within fiction, abstract beings or abstract entities usually entail, bro, whose mic is that? Oh my god.
Wait, in response to that, you pretty much just said that your character can deny what Infinity's positing.
No, it's not that he can deny. What I said is that what Infinity's positing doesn't really matter. Just because his character is not bound by physical causality does not mean that it's not dependent upon higher level immaterial things, such as what the characters I'm repping are.
Okay, you see how that doesn't attack what I said, or do you want to tell you my
Well,
response?
what'd you respond to that with the immaterial?
Yes, I'm saying that to be abstract. Okay, my entire point is that there is no such thing as immaterial time. So I'm going to go step by step. So the abstract is to be atemporal, spatial, since metaphysical change does not exist, in which he didn't give an argument as to why it exists. I'm going to say that time is represented via spatial interaction, spatial things. So that's what I said is a biconditional. Time exists if and only if space or spatial interactions occur.
Okay.
So,
Dog, I don't care about.
So hold on. I said that to be abstract is the strongest hacks in fiction because if my character's true form is abstract, that means you cannot damage, destroy anything to it. Because, for example, if there's a point in time where it exists and then it doesn't exist, I would entail change, in which we know abstract things cannot go through change. With his statement, I said, sure, the author can intend to portray X thing of them being able to do immaterial
the
things.
intention thing.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I just don't understand the relevancy because you keep on saying it can't undergo like temporal change. Like there's nothing temporal change about whether or not the concept of ghost is predicated upon the concept of the laws of logic. If there is a higher being, if there's a higher God, which other immaterial things are predicated upon to exist,
You're not. Wait. Okay, let me explain this real quick.
I just don't understand how this is a reflection.
Let me explain this. Okay, hold on. So there's two concepts. Let's say there's the concept. Let's say there's the concept of cars, and then like let's say it's a red car. A concept of a red car, and then you have the concept of red. Now the concept of red is inclusive of that red car. That's not what I'm denying. I'm agreeing that's plausible. As in, for example, the concept of a ghost can be ascribed to classical logic. What I'm saying is that if your character is abstract, but they are creating things or destroying things, in which you said they can do, that would entail a contradiction. So I'm asking, why should I accept that statement?
Actually, what you just said is perfect. If there's a godlike being who can eradicate the concept of red, right, and it eradicates the concept of red, that would entail the eradication of the concept of red cars. That isn't a matter. Wait, that isn't a matter, right? That isn't a matter of physical change or temporal change. That's just a matter of a fact being rendered negative. Okay, and if that's possible in the universe I'm repping, would you agree that people said it was possible and we went into it?
Hold on. Said it was possible for someone to be abstract of fiction. What you just said is presupposing the fact that you can actually erase abstract things. You just went circular once again.
Sorry, what'd you say? Could you repeat that? You put out.
Bridge, you just give judgment, bro. Like I don't know why I'm arguing.
So Forks is trying to say his character is immaterial, and that what Infinity's saying is not applicable to it. Or doesn't.
No, he's saying that his character can erase immaterial things or destroy immaterial things, etc.
Yeah, and that's what you're saying is not applicable to it.
I'm asking why should we accept that especially until the contradiction, Bridge?
Yeah, I know. And then Infinity says that you have to justify some sort of metaphysical change. For this to be able
I explained what time is. Did I said it was a bicondition?
Did you guys agree to that definition of time, by the way?
I gave an argument for why.
We agree. Wait, we agree that time is the measurement of change in the physical plane. I said all that is irrelevant to whether or not in the metaphysical plane you can delete or eliminate notions or ideas because they are dependent on you and your power. These are two different things, right? I just don't understand. Like this guy is swinging at the air right now.
You're trying to limit it to a physical plane. I'm asking why you can eliminate, erase, destroy concepts overall.
Okay, it's like I just like hold on a second. What is your confusion? Do you think that things that way? Do you think if you think the flow of time?
I'm not arguing with you.
If you think
bro, please just give judgment. Oh my god.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so Forks is trying to say that it wouldn't matter because your character can delete that.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, Bridge. I'm saying that
like you're trying to say you can erase that.
I'm saying that if there are concepts that this person can determine exist or don't exist, and he determines that they don't exist anymore, that's not a measurement of time passing. That's a measurement of a fact. That's a measurement of a fact of reality being rendered false.
Hey, Bridge, want to know something?
These are entirely different realms of power. This guy keeps on trying to make the paradigm about physical time because he knows that if he listens to what I say, his argument is going to flounder like a fish.
I don't know why you're trying to do that rhetorical shit after conclusions. But anyways, Bridge, if you actually listen to my explanation, I'm going to ask you, if McDonald's isn't there and then it is there, that entails change, right?
Okay, yes.
Okay, so I asked him why facts were immaterial because of X thing. He didn't give an explanation as to why facts were immaterial.
Okay, wait, you're
I did actually.
Oh my god, can you stop.
You're trying
Yes,
to
and
say the universe
I'm saying even if facts were immaterial in his fictional verse, I can grant that. However, why is it the case that they can go through change? You keep on trying to limit it to a physical
So,
plane, in which I
Forks.
never limited to a physical
Oh
plane. I
my
said
goodness.
overall.
Forks,
So
he
can you
said
just be
Okay.
judgment, Bridge? Oh my
I'm
god.
gonna say
saying
one more thing, bro,
not
because I don't want to go ad
material,
infinitum, bro. I'm gonna just say one more thing because I don't want to go ad infinitum. This guy, I told him, right, that facts and truth in my universe I'm repping are metaphysical by nature, and he said he would steelman that. He said he would grant that.
Wait,
That's
wait,
not
The
what
wait,
it
wait,
problem
is.
okay,
is Bridge. The
Wait,
problem is that we
I'm not
both
gonna be
agree.
silent.
Wait, the problem is that we both
Hello?
agree.
Oh my
Sorry,
gosh.
I just
Let me
wanted to
say
get
something.
one sentence
If you guys
across.
wanted to steal, wait, that's perfect. Just listen. If you guys steal man that point, I say whoever wins that point would just win. If you
I
can
don't
just
care, bro, Bridge. I'm saying I don't need to stillman it or not. I'm saying even I gave an argument as to why, even if I
Oh
accept
my
X,
goodness.
X is still contradictory. Therefore, why should we
Sorry,
accept it?
I'm sorry. I would just like to
Okay,
finish this
no,
sentence,
no,
and
no,
then
no, no,
Infinity
no,
can
no.
talk as much as he wants, and I won't even talk again.
Hold on.
Bridge,
He's gonna
you
give
just watched
moderation.
recording, bro. This is going for no reason.
Yeah,
I'm just
Like, you said you were listening, bro.
yeah, I did listen. I'm saying I'm gonna just say this. If you guys steal man that point, the point about whether or not those things can take place in Forks' verse, I think it's pretty crucial that you guys actually open that point up and then go into it, and
Bro,
then go from there.
I don't think it is.
Because
Bro.
immaterial
Just go to recording. Just go to recording. I'll explain why it doesn't matter at all.
Wait, why doesn't you guys steal man and never opened it, right?
Oh my God. So look, Bridge, I'll say this once again. Immaterial things existing is not the problem. I'm asking why immaterial things can go through change. I said that change is something that is spatial, limited to spatiality. He is trying to limit it to a physical plane. I'm asking why overall this thing
So
can
you're
go
saying
through
that even
change.
if they do,
Your mic cut out. Hello?
yeah, I know. So you're saying even if immaterial things do exist, that they don't necessarily go through that change?
Yes. If I, for example, I can
Okay.
exist, it doesn't mean I'm going through any type of interaction or anything like that. Like,
So Forks, if that's the case, if you did bring that up in the recording, which I'll go through, I'd give the point to Infinity.
just go, bro. Just go to the recording.
I was trying to say one more sentence, and this guy just wanted to yap.
Go
But I
ahead.
was trying to
Go ahead
say
and
last and
go
for
ahead and say
all.
one more thing because I don't want to prolong this. I don't want to prolong it like that. So if you go
Yeah,
ahead and say one
me
more thing.
neither. That's my point. Me neither.
Go
What I
ahead.
was trying to say is that this guy wanted to steal man that things like facts or truths were immaterial, and we both agree that immaterial things don't undergo temporal or physical changes. But what I'm saying is, if it's possible, and he's steelman, he granted this as well for some reason, that facts and ideas of this nature can be deleted in this verse, then he would be conceding that in the verse, it's possible for things that are acausal, aspatial, atemporal to just be outright negated if you have sufficient power and ability.
Bridge.
That's all I'm trying to get across, which is crazy.
Hey,
I just don't get it.
okay, Bridge. Now that he's done, he keeps on saying physical change. Within the point, I'm arguing that all change is physical. So I don't know why he keeps saying that.
Okay.
Also, hold
I
on, Bridge.
have
Also,
a judgment.
with the possibility stuff, the reason why I granted it is that it's fiction. I'm saying that fictional characters can do impossibilities, but what did I say that, Bridge? I want extraordinary evidence, like for example, feet. But guess what? I explained why you cannot show a feat. Therefore, it's impossible for you to justify your character is abstract. I explained why you cannot show a feat of an abstract being. I explained why a statement would not be enough or adequate evidence. Therefore, you cannot win. I just explained that multiple times.
Well, that just gets into the okay. I don't want to drag it on anymore. But you can watch the recording. That gets into the point where we argue about whether or not corroborative statements and evidence qualify as valid evidence. You can just watch that. I'm confident enough to not yap about it.
Bro, Bridge, just watch recording. I think we can leave the entire debate off of that because I think abstractness is literally the strongest facts ever.
Okay.
Okay, nice debate.
Yeah. GG.
Well,
Hey,
Is
Bridge,
it just me? Why is everybody muted?
hey, Bridge, can you watch that now?
shut up, boy.
Oh, it's a debate going on right now. My bad.
Not right. Are you okay? Right, you got it.
Yeah, shut your
What?
bitch ass.
What?
I know that was not Quinn's.
Who the fuck is Box Out? Who
Was
is
that?
that?
Nigga, it's me,
Yo,
nigga. Fuck you
don't
talking
make me
about, bro.
son you again.
Oh, you're Box Out. Do I know you from somewhere?
That's
Yes, you
Quinn's,
do.
bro. It's the dude that you beat on One Piece. Don't worry about it.
Oh.